Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Now today what I'm going to be bringing you is an England versus Czech Republic match preview. Now just before we get into today's video, if you could drop a like on it, let's try and go for 15 likes on today's video. That would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you are new as well. We are on the road to 100 subscribers on this channel, so if you could subscribe, that would be massively appreciated. But today we are going to be previewing England's match tomorrow against Czech Republic. It's not going to be an easy game. We still probably need to get something from this game to be guaranteed to finish top of the group. Right now, not really confident going into it. I think we do actually need to win because I think it's Czech Republic first, we're second. I think it's Croatia third and Scotland fourth, so we really do need to win if we do want to top the group. Before we continue, get your starting lineup down in the comments below, and also what would your score prediction be for this game. There's been a little debate over on social media about who should be playing, who shouldn't be playing. I'm going to be giving you my starting 11 in this game. For this game, going through Czech Republic's previous couple results, some of their danger men as well, and I'll also be giving you guys my score prediction. So make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and let's get on with today's match preview. So if you look at some of the previous games Czech Republic have played in the Euros so far, so they had a 1-1 draw against Croatia and a 2-0 victory against Scotland. So they've scored 3 goals so far, only conceding the 1 as well. Schick has scored all 3 goals for Czech Republic. They had 11 shots against Croatia, but only the penalty was the shot on target. If you look at their pass accuracy, they had a 78% pass accuracy against Croatia. They had more passes than Croatia. They committed a lot of fouls though. They got a decent amount of corners against Croatia. If you have a look at some of the more in-depth stats against Scotland, Scotland had a lot more shots. They had Scotland had a much higher percentage of the ball. Scotland had 58% of the ball. In that game, Czech Republic only had a 69% pass accuracy, and they only completed 348 passes. And to be fair, they both had 6 corners each. So They seem to struggle a little bit against Scotland, but they came away with a better result than what they did against Croatia. Some of their previous results before that, they had a 3-1 win against Albania, a 4-0 defeat against Italy, a 1-0 defeat against Wales, both teams having a red card in that game, a 1-1 draw against Belgium, a 6-2 win over Estonia. So, you know, they're going to be a decent side. They've got some good players, people like Patrick Schick, who's obviously scored all of their goals so far. I'm trying to think of some of their other danger men. They've always got Soufal and Souček, the 2 West Ham boys. They can cause a threat. Apart from that, I don't really know any of the other players. I know Vlakic, the goalkeeper, I believe he plays in the Liga. They've got Vidra on the bench, the Burnley forward. Apart from that, I'm not familiar with any of the other players. On paper, it should be another 3 points for England, but on paper, the Scotland game should have been 3 points, but it just wasn't, was it? We were very poor. We looked tactically inept. Let me know down in the comments below, are you Southgate in or Southgate out? In terms of my team then, I feel like some positions don't really need to be talked about. I'm going to stick with the 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 formation that Southgate seems to love at this tournament so far. I think you got to stick with Pickford in goal. He's not really done anything wrong. You know, he's not conceded a goal yet. Looks decent with his footwork, so I don't think that's one that we need to spend too much time talking on. At right back, we've seen Kyle Walker play there. We've seen Reece James play there. Reece James against Scotland did absolutely nothing. Kyle Walker against Croatia was poor on the ball, but defensively he was better. We've not seen Trippier at right back yet, so maybe it's the game that you bring Trippier in for. I'm debating between Trippier and Walker right now. I think it depends, because Walker wasn't in the squad at all against Scotland, so if that is to do with an injury, then I probably would bring in Kieran Trippier at right back. Obviously, our set pieces against Scotland were very poor. Mason Mount was, could hardly beat the first man for a lot of his in-swingers, so I think we probably do put Kieran Trippier at right back. Controversial one, I don't really mind which right back plays there, but I've not really seen anyone nail down that position so far. I think if you're going to go in order, I'd probably go Trippier, Walker, Reece James. I think Reece James did absolutely nothing against Scotland, offered nothing going forward. Didn't really have much to do defensively, but yeah, I thought Reece James was kind of subpar. So I'll bring Kieran Trippier in at right back. If he's fit, I do think Harry Maguire comes back into this side, but I think if he is fit, he comes in for John Stones. Tyrone Mings was fantastic once again against Scotland. He's probably been our player of the tournament so far. So if Maguire is fit, I personally go with Maguire and Mings. If Maguire's not fit, I think you probably stick with Stones and Mings. Stones didn't really do, again, too much wrong against Scotland. He had that open goal basically from 6 yards out. It's a free header and it cannons off the post really early on in that game against Scotland, which was very, very disappointed that it couldn't find the back of the net. Very unfortunate, but unfortunately that's just not the way the cookie crumbled that time. But yeah, that's what the centre-back partnership that I would go depending on fitness and all that sort of stuff. At left back, I would bring in Ben Chilwell. I thought Luke Shaw didn't really offer anything again against Scotland. I think everyone against Scotland was pretty poor, apart from Mings and maybe Pickford. I don't really think anyone did anything against Scotland, so I'd bring in Ben Chilwell at left back. I understand, you know, it's not FIFA, it's not Football Manager. You can't just make 11 changes and everything will be the same. You know what I mean? That's not how real life football works. You can maybe make 2 or 3 changes without, you know, messing with the side completely. But this is just what the team that I would go with if I was Gareth Southgate. You know, I've not done any coaching badges. I'm not a manager. I manage a 5-a-side team on a Friday, which is slowly falling apart. But I would personally bring in Ben Chilwell at left back. The 2 holding midfielders, I think Jude Bellingham's got to come in for whoever out of Rice or Phillips gets dropped. I don't really mind. I think one of them has to be dropped. I don't really mind who gets dropped personally. I'm leaning towards Phillips. I think Phillips has had a better tournament so far than Declan Rice, so I'd go with Jude Bellingham and Calvin Phillips. When you're playing against a poor team, no, not a poor team, when you're playing against a very defensive team, you don't need 2 defensive midfielders. And I think if we'd have had someone like a Jude Bellingham, we could have unlocked some corridors. You know, we could have got Harry Kane a little bit more involved into the game. So I think Jude Bellingham should be partnering Calvin Phillips for me. Thought Phillips was a bit poor against Scotland, but he was obviously, well, it personally was my man of the match against Croatia. I'm still bewildered as to how Raheem Sterling won that. So yeah, personally I go with Phillips and Bellingham at defensive midfield. On the right hand side of the front 3, I'd bring in Jadon Sancho. I think Foden so far has been very, very poor on that right hand side. He was a little bit better against Scotland than what he was against Croatia, but he's just not really offered anything right now to us, and I think it's probably about time that you bring Sancho in. I'm not sure if the quote is real or not, because there's a lot of fake quotes that go around, but apparently Gareth Southgate has said you need to manage Jadon Sancho. He's not ready for England. Have you not seen how well he's done for Borussia Dortmund? He's probably had a better season than Jude Bellingham. He's playing Bellingham every other game or so, so it doesn't really make sense, that sort of a comment. But for me personally, I haven't seen anything that Foden's done on that right hand side to warrant a start, so you might as well change things up and bring in Jadon Sancho. On the left hand side, probably the easiest change to make out of this whole team. How Jack Grealish is not playing over Raheem Sterling is an absolute disgrace. Raheem Sterling's been terrible for the past 2 games. How he's played the whole games against Croatia and Scotland, I'll never know. He's been awful. You know, he obviously dived against Scotland as well. There's nowhere near that's a penalty. We've got a good opportunity to attack and he's just throwing himself to the floor. Grealish, when he came on against Scotland, he had 3 men on him constantly. He was still managed to get past them all, and they were still having to foul him, winning free kicks and all that sort of stuff. It's a shame we didn't take James Ward-Prowse, because we would probably scored a lot more goals if we'd have taken James Ward-Prowse. I think that's a very, very poor decision from Southgate, and I've said that many, many times. But Grealish has to come in for Raheem Sterling. If this doesn't happen, and if Sterling's in that starting, Sterling shouldn't even be on the bench. If Sterling's in that starting 11 against Czech Republic, I think all hell is going to break loose, because he's an absolute disgrace. He's been terrible the past 2 games, which is, you know, no one wants to see a player for their national side playing poorly. He's out of form. He's not had a great season, but you know, if he comes in, you know, I mean, we get to the final and he bags the winner in the final, I'm sure he'll go down as a national hero. But right now, he's just not performing well enough. And yeah, it's sad to see, really. But personally, I would bring in Jack Grealish. I'm a big fan of Jack Grealish. I do like how he plays, and I'd personally bring him in on that left-hand side. In the number 10 role, I was debating between Foden and Mount. I think Mount has tried to create things, but I'd like to see Foden in the middle, see what he can create. I saw a debate that the Kickoff had saying that at Man City, Phil Foden's just, you know, the new kid on the block, protect him at all costs, but at England is, oh wow, it's Man City, Phil Foden passing the ball, and let's see what he can do. I think there's a lot of pressure on Phil Foden to deliver, and right now he's just not done that. So maybe changing his position, moving him into the centre. But if Mason Mount was to play in the middle, I wouldn't really complain. And then obviously up front, for some reason there's a debate over playing Calvert-Lewin over Harry Kane. doesn't really make sense to me. I think Harry Kane has to start. Yes, he's had 2 poor games. Yes, he's had, what, 1 chance. He's had hardly any service whatsoever. So personally, I'd stick with Harry Kane there. There's a lot of people saying that he deserves to be dropped. Would you see Poland dropping Lewandowski if he had 2 games? Would you see Portugal dropping Ronaldo if he had 2 poor games? Would you see Barcelona dropping Messi if he had 2 poor games? No, you wouldn't. Harry Kane is one of, if not the best strikers in the world right now. He absolutely has to play. So that would be my team. So just to go through it again, I'd have Pickford in goal.
Trippier.
Then obviously it depends on Maguire's fitness, so Maguire/Stones and Tyrone Mings. Ben Chilwell at left back, Phillips and Bellingham at defensive midfield, Sancho on the right, Foden in the middle, Grealish on the left, and Harry Kane up front. In terms of score prediction, I'm going to go with an England win. I'm going to go with a 2-0 to England. I'm going to go with Jadon Sancho and Jude Bellingham, the 2 Dortmund boys, the perfect link to get the goals for England. But yeah, that is where I am going to leave today's video. If you have enjoyed, a like as always would be massively appreciated. Can we try and hit 15 likes, as I said at the start of the video? That would be absolutely class. Subscribe if you are new as well. We are on the road to 100 subscribers on this channel. Make sure you subscribe to my main channel. Link is down in the description below, and come over and follow me on Twitch. We're on the road to 2,000 followers over there. Once we do get 2,000 followers, you guys can earn yourself a free subscription to the channel. So make sure you go over there and drop me a follow. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.